In this video, we discuss the recent actions taken by President Donald Trump regarding immigration policy in the United States. Recently, Trump signed the Laken Riley Act into law, marking the first bill of his second term. This legislation mandates the detention of immigrants arrested for property crimes. It also grants state attorneys general broad authority to challenge federal immigration laws. Trump stated that this action is a step towards eradicating migrant crime. Immigration advocates have raised concerns about the implications of this bill. They argue that it could lead to mass deportations. The bill requires the detention of immigrants charged with property crimes, which critics fear could include many individuals without proper authorization. During the signing ceremony, Trump announced plans to establish a migrant detention center at Guantanamo Bay. This facility is expected to accommodate up to 30,000 detainees. Trump asserted that Guantanamo would be used for the worst criminal illegal aliens. He expressed concerns about sending these individuals back to their home countries. Historically, Guantanamo Bay has been used for various detention purposes. From 1994 to 1996, the US government detained over 30,000 Cubans fleeing political and economic turmoil. In 2002, the site was repurposed to hold terrorism suspects following the September 11 attacks. The announcement of the new detention center has drawn criticism from various quarters. Cuba's President Miguel Díaz-Canel condemned the move as an act of brutality. He brought into light the facility's history as a site of torture. The Department of Homeland Security has not yet provided comments regarding the new detention center. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, indicated that US Immigration and Customs Enforcement would oversee operations at Guantanamo. Homan stated that the existing migrant center would be expanded. The Laken Riley Act is named after a young nursing student who was murdered by an undocumented immigrant. Trump brought into light this case during the signing ceremony. He stated that the memory of Laken Riley would be preserved through this legislation. Her mother expressed gratitude for the bill, hoping it would prevent similar tragedies. Trump also used this occasion to criticize the previous administration's immigration policies. He attributed Riley's death to the Biden administration's failure to deport dangerous individuals. The bill expands mandatory detention requirements to include assaults on law enforcement officers and bodily harm to others. Trump called on Congress to provide full funding for deportations. He noted that the estimated cost of enforcing the Laken Riley Act would be approximately $26.9 billion in the first year. This poses financial challenge, given that the budget for ICE for the current fiscal year is around $9 billion. Despite bipartisan support for the bill, there are concerns about due process rights for immigrants. Critics argue that the legislation could undermine legal protections. It does not include provisions for the release of immigrant children on bond. Additionally, the bill could affect individuals with discretionary legal statuses, such as humanitarian parole. The Trump administration recently granted immigration officials the authority to cancel humanitarian parole for recent arrivals. This change could impact approximately 1.5 million immigrants. Legal advocates have reported challenges in providing assistance to immigrants in detention. Funding cuts have limited their ability to offer legal services. Furthermore, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem revoked temporary protections for around 600,000 Venezuelans. Trump praised Noem for her efforts in immigration enforcement. Earlier in the week, she participated in ICE raids in New York City. Overall, Trump's recent actions signal shift in US immigration policy. The establishment of a large detention facility at Guantanamo Bay and the enactment of the Laken Riley Act reflect his administration's commitment to strict immigration enforcement. As discussions continue, the implications of these policies will be closely monitored by advocates and critics alike.